Hello everyone and welcome back to Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. It feels nice to not have to do the raspy pirate voice like I had to do 2 weeks ago for Thomas and the Treasure. It feels great. Feels great, honestly. This HMR is on Engines and Escapades. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump right into the history section of Engines and Escapades. So Engines and Escapades was released once back in 2008 by 20th Century Fox. However, Engines and Escapades has gotten a reprinted version by Lionsgate. That's actually the copy that I'm going to be showing you in the close-up section. I'm not sure what date it is. I believe it's like 2009 or 2010 or something like that. But it was reprinted later on. But that's the only reprint that I've seen. So with all being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the close-up section of Engines and Escapades. Alrighty everybody, here's your close-up look at Engines and Escapades. This is the 2010 Valentine's Day copy, and when I say Valentine's Day, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at the release here. We start here on the front. It's a very nice poster art here on the front. That's grammar. That's how the English language works. Yeah, it's Thomas popping out of a map of the island of Sodor with Engines and Escapades behind him. I really like how this poster is set up on the front here. It's very eye-catching. We look on the side here. Hit Entertainment logo. As always, that still hasn't gone away. Scroll on down. Engines and Escapades. We've got a portrait of Linnaeus down at the bottom there. Distributed by Lionsgate. That is how you can tell that this is from 2010. And also there's another way, but again, we'll get to that in a minute. On the back here, Engines and Escapades. We've got our blurb about what's on the release. Scarloe and Rheneas covered in mud. And Madge. Madge is a new character, interestingly. So, wow, hey, look. They list the episodes again. Wow, that's amazing. Look at that. And there's actually oh wait, there's only one bonus feature. Never mind. It's just a bonus episode of Fireman Sam. But they list the episodes again. That is absolutely wonderful. I love that they brought that back for this release. Unfortunately, they dump it after this, but I suppose you can take what you can get. We open this up. There's our disc. Literally a squished up version of the poster art. So I said that there was a second way for you to tell that this was printed in 2010, minus the Lionsgate logo on the side, and that way is this. This is a separate piece of paper that comes packaged over top of the release if you buy it from 2010. It is not super glued. It's like that sticky stuff. It's basically stuck onto the front of the release, and when you take it out of the shrink wrap, it comes off easily. The other way, minus this, as you can see, it says includes Valentine's Day cards. Well, that's not lying. Here's your pack of Valentine's Day cards. There's probably around, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 of these in this little pack. They are in their own shrink wrap pack. I am choosing to keep mine mint and packed just because I really don't need them out of the package. And they come packed, adhesived or adhered to the back here. They come stuck right here with also the little sticky, gluey stuff on the back there. I'm not really sure what that stuff is called, but that's how it came, at least for me. And this is also how you can find the 2010 print of Carnival Capers, and I believe Comrade the Rails also has Valentine's Day promotion on it if you get it in 2010. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and transition into our menu tour of Engines and Escapades. Alrighty everybody, here's our menu tour of Engines and Escapades. You can't really see that because there's not a lot of natural light, but rest assured that was the Engines and Escapades case. So anyway, another bland and boring menu. There's not a lot going on here, so let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at languages. We have English, Spanish, and French. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay enthusiastic throughout this menu tour, but there's nothing to look at here. It's the plainest menu I've ever seen, minus Milkshake Muddle, and Carnival Capers, and that's mainly due to the fact that because this was a 20th Century Fox release, and 20th Century Fox is notorious with these bland and boring menus. So, bonus episode of Fireman Sam, we don't need to look at that. There's not like a secondary menu to that. But let's see what happens when we choose Play All. Nope, it just starts with the release. So there's no like play continuously option. So that is your menu tour for Engines and Escapades. My apologies, it was so short, but there's not a lot to look at here. So anyway, let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Hopefully that will be more interesting than this god-awful menu tour. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? I wouldn't go looking for this at your local Walmart, like with all of these older releases. Honestly, is on an online retailer such as eBay or Amazon or something like that. However, if you have a store called Big Lots or Half Price Books near you, you might be able to find this release there because they carry some older Thomas & Friends releases, which I think are back stock or that haven't been sold yet, that they're just sitting in their back rooms and they're waiting to be sold and they're extremely cheap. Matter of fact, Half Price Books is where I've gotten a lot of my reprinted DVDs, and that's why we've been able to do so many supplementals in the past few months. It's also where I got Carnival Capers, Thomas and the Treasure, and Santa's Little Engine, which we haven't covered on the show yet. Big Lots, I haven't picked up anything from them as of recently, but I have seen a lot of Thomas Comes to Breakfast reprints. I saw some original Thomas's Halloween Adventures. Maybe I'll pick one of those up at some point. But Big Lots also carries classic Thomas & Friends home media products. Wow, that was an absurdly long answer for number 1. I think that's the longest answer for question number 1 we've gotten in a long time. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? Short answer, no. Number 3, should you pick this product up? How do I put this bluntly? Engines and Escapades has got to contain some of the worst narrow gauge stories I have ever seen. I mean, these episodes are just trash. Honestly, they're all trash. Especially Skarloey Storms Through. That episode was one of the episodes that took the biggest dump on a narrow gauge character I've seen in a long time. Sir Handel in Charge also takes a dump on a very popular narrow gauge character. So, does that mean I'm going to be recommending this? Well, obviously not. Do not pick this up. However, there is something I find interesting about this release. You guys know, whenever you pop in a Thomas DVD, and it does the whole, Thomas and Friends making tracks to great destinations, a thing that they keep pushing in the releases nowadays, even with extraordinary engines and stuff like that. Yeah, that bugs the crap out of me, but they still do it. And it goes straight into the intro, which they still won't use the new intro. Like, come on, the new engine roll call is so much better than the old one. They move straight into the intro, and then they move on to the island of Soto is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. Stuff like that. That little intro segment. They actually don't use the island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue seas. They don't use that in Engines and Escapades. They change it to have Thomas going to the mountain railway to visit his narrow gauge friends. There's actually a whole new narration thing that I don't have memorized because that's not on every single release. And as far as I know, this is the only time that they've changed the menu for a release, or not the menu, the intro for a release. That's actually really cool. That doesn't save Engines and Escapades from falling into the mediocre trash pile of the Thomas & Friends home media market range. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? If you're going to pay money for this, you obviously didn't listen to my absurdly long recommend section, but hey, it's your money, you do what you want with it. I would say Engines and Escapades is worth probably around $5, which is going to be a common theme as we move into the CGI era. Most of these DVDs I wouldn't go over $5 for, especially this one. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was my HMR on Engines and Escapades. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to dislike this release as much as I did, but it's just what happens when you get a release that's compiled with trash stories on it. Our next HMR should be a little more happy, but I don't know about that because it's on Mud Glorious Mud. A release that I feel was completely, just utterly unnecessary. What exactly do I mean by that? You'll find out in 2 weeks. So once again, I want to thank you all for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.